Hey everyone, welcome back to TYP. As usual, it's me, Megan. And today I just wanted to do a little video about bile duct cancer and rare cancers in general. We've had a few people find us through YouTube, I think just by searching like bile duct cancer, because there's not a whole lot out there, honestly. For people with, bile duct cancer and other rare types of cancers and rare diseases in general. So I wanted to make a quick post about that. And if you are finding us because of that, welcome. I'm glad that you found us, and I really hope that you find this helpful. And if you need anybody to talk to, or you need some more like one-on-one support, please reach out to me on any of the platforms or email me at terminalyetpurposeful@gmail.com. I love to hear from you guys. Those of us that are going through it, you're not alone, right? So when it comes to bile duct cancer, which is also known as cholangiocarcinoma, and other rare diseases, things that you don't hear about very often, when you're diagnosed with something like this, I think when you're diagnosed with any disease, it's frustrating and it's life-changing and traumatic and horrible. And when you're diagnosed with a rare disease, especially when you've never heard of before, it's just extra frustrating because there's just not as much support out there. You have a harder time finding doctors, finding specialists that really know the ins and outs of what you're going through. So just a couple of tips I have for people that are going through that. I was diagnosed with bile duct cancer in 2020. And the type of cancer I have, the scientific term for it is cholangiocarcinoma. And that's a mouthful. And I had to learn how to spell it very quickly because I had to write it a lot. And it shocked me that I would go to doctors and they would mispronounce that or write it incorrectly. And I was like, wow, that's probably not a great sign. So my first tip for you, if you were just diagnosed with bile duct cancer or any other type of rare disease, is find the organization that you need to. For me, the organization that I needed to find was cholangiocarcinoma.org. There is an organization for anything that you're going through. And my doctor specifically recommended that. He said, a lot of times young people get these rare out of left field types of cancer, like appendix cancer, bile duct cancer, gallbladder cancer. And it's just like how do I deal with this? And I think the first step is to safely Google, because there's a lot of junk out there that's not going to make you feel great, and we'll get to that later. Organizations that deal with what you're going through, and dive in. Find a good, supportive, safe organization that's dedicated to what you're going through, like cholangiocarcinoma.org in my experience, and educate yourself and get yourself acquainted with that website. Seek out support, see what's available to you, and just try and get as much information from them as absolutely possible. Which comes to my second point, which is connect with a specialist in your disease or cancer. Okay, and cholangiocarcinoma.org eventually helped me find that. They have a really good patients. In one of their drop-down menus, there's a tab just for patients only, and they have lists and lists of people that are experts in bile duct cancers, and that's how I found my current specialist, and he's amazing. I can't recommend him enough. So connect with a specialist. When I was first diagnosed, I was getting treated at a general hospital, general cancer center. in a hospital, in a major hospital, with a general oncologist. And some of the best advice I got was from a nurse at the MD Anderson Cancer Center in Houston, Texas. I was connected to her through actually my boss at work. Is very supportive and actually hooked me up with this person. And she said, the type of cancer that you have, oncologists would look at that and say, that's a zebra, you know. So I showed up to a farm and there's a zebra walking around the farm. How the heck do we handle this zebra? And she said, you want a doctor, an oncologist, a specialist that's going to look at you and say, that's not a zebra, that's a horse. It's this kind of horse, and this is how we treat that kind of horse here on the farm. And that's exactly what I found. So if you, do your research when it comes to finding specialists. Through cholangiocarcinoma.org, I found a bunch of specialty centers. I know MD Anderson down in Houston, Texas is a great one. Memorial Sloan Kettering in New York City is also a great organization. The Mayo Clinic over in Minnesota is also fantastic. And I wound up at Fox Chase Cancer Center in Philadelphia, another great cancer organization. And I got hooked up with a gastric cancer specialist, and it's incredible. Finding a good specialist at a good hospital, especially ones with access to clinical trials, experimental therapy, stuff like that, is going to make a world of difference for you. So be comfortable with your doctor, but make sure that your doctor knows the ins and outs of what you're going through. Kind of piggybacking on that, I would also recommend finding a good support group. And this is actually really difficult to do. And I wasn't able to really successfully find that. I would just say be careful, because not all support groups are created equal. Ideally, especially when you're just diagnosed and it's so raw and so fresh, I found it really difficult to be on a bunch of support groups with former caregivers of people that had passed away with the type of cancer that I had. And that really wasn't helpful for me at all. And I know that there should be a specific place for people grieving the loss of someone to that. So I would recommend going to a patient, if you're a patient, going through a patient-centric support group. And if you're a caregiver, going through a caregiver-centric support group. Because, even though the path that you walk is similar and it runs parallel, there are some differences. And I think to be in the right mindset, especially when you're first diagnosed and you're trying to figure out how you're going to put your life together and get to fighting this, the right support group with the right mentorship, the right guidance, and the right environment can really make a good difference. And when it comes to Googling things, that's my other recommendation, is be really careful what you Google and don't listen to statistics, because that's what's going to pop up when you Google. When I Googled cholangiocarcinoma or bile duct cancer, what I found was not great. Talking about the percentage of people that survived this diagnosis and, the low prognosis, it just, the prognosis information wasn't good, and that wasn't helpful for me. So just stick to, educate yourself on what you're going through. And if you can separate in your mind, like the clinical stuff from the bad news, then that's awesome. But especially at first, for me, I did not want to see that stuff. I did not want to see percentages and, the poor prognosis that my diagnosis had. That wasn't helpful for me, which was great when I found cholangiocarcinoma.org. and was able to educate myself a lot through their resources. That really made a big difference. So know what you're going through, know what you're fighting, but do it really carefully. And don't read statistics, okay? And forget about and doctors tend to not do this anymore, but if your doctor gives you a prognosis with a timeline, I mean, that's going to be like a train coming at you full force and hitting you right square in the chest. That's rough. And if you've gone through that, I empathize with you. I really do. It's really hard. It's really hard. But if you get to a place where you can move forward and fight for the life that you have left to live, try and put your prognosis on the back burner. Try and forget it, right? Because, I mean, it's not always helpful. And most of the time it's wrong, right? There's been so many people that have gotten like, you have 6 months or something like that and have completely blown past that. And what we're all trying to do, let's be honest, is we're all trying to live long enough for people to find a cure or to find a new innovative treatment that's really going to work on you, right? And just sitting and thinking about your prognosis is not helpful. It really isn't. At least it wasn't for me. So just forget about that stuff. And just, if you are in the mindset that you're going to fight and you're going to move forward, forget about that stuff and just do it. Just plow forward, try and stay positive, educate yourself, and get out there and try and live your best life, right? And that's my other tip is stay positive. Stay positive and stay open to new things. Stay open to traveling to go see a specialist, to go see the right doctor for you. Be open to clinical trials and the possibility of getting, maybe being able to get on one, if you're in that position, if you can, talk to a great oncologist, a great specialist who recommends that, then, be open to that. And be open to getting a second opinion and a third opinion. And, I'm really glad that I did. When I first started out at the cancer center at a major hospital, I got a second opinion at Memorial Sloan Kettering in New York. And that made a big difference. I met with somebody who's actually specialized in the type of cancer that I had and who was just so knowledgeable. And then, eventually I got my third opinion at Fox Chase and met my current doctor who I love. You're putting your life in the hands of doctors and specialists, and you have to really like them and you have to be really confident that they know what they're doing. So go get out there and get second, third opinions. Fourth, even if you're not finding doctors that you like or you're not getting the news that you expect, then keep looking, right? And oftentimes when you find an organization, like for me, cholangiocarcinoma.org, they can help you in that journey to find the right specialist and the right hospital or cancer center or, wherever for you. So that is all I have today about that. And I'm sure I will stop recording this and 15 other things will pop into my head. But if you have some advice on what to do when you're diagnosed with a rare disease or, what you're going through, what worked for you, what didn't work for you, please share in our platforms. And if I can offer any information myself, or if you're looking for any kind of support, some more one-on-one support, please reach out to me at terminalyetpurposeful@gmail.com. Once again, thank you so much for watching. Have a great day, and please do something nice for yourself. All right. Bye, everyone.